So my number one is a very basic choice, but nonetheless, I could not help myself but put Day for Night as
okay.
number one for me. This is filmed 1973. Francois Truffaut directed it, starring Jacqueline Bisset, Jean-Pierre Aumont, and Francis Truffaut himself. The movie is about a committed film director struggles to complete his movie while coping with a myriad of crises, personal and professional, among the cast and crew. So yeah, this is a very basic choice. This is, in my mind, though, the ultimate movie about movie making. I think what this movie shows is that making movies is work. It's very workmanlike. It's very artificial and very fake. But it is at the same time total magic. And this movie, every time I watch it, it just makes me fall in love with movies even more than I already love them, and really is like captures that feeling of movie magic, I think, more than any other film really out there. So like I said, there's a lot of workmen, movies are work, right? It is something that these people do as a job. The opening tracking shot, you see this with all the different people that are involved, all of the the crew, and everything. There's all these people involved in making this film. And this is like, they're doing very workmanlike stuff. They're building a set, they're constructing this. I mean, there's artistry in those things, but it's also, a very workmanlike. And there's a line in the film too, where it's like, all I remember about making the movie is the waiting, which, the sets that I've been on too, it's like the most slow. You'd think watching a movie get made would be amazing, but it is incredibly boring. And I think this movie kind of captures the boring parts very well as well, and shows, the art, like what the director really does with this art too. There's that, again, amazing same shot. He's walking through and all these people are coming up just asking him questions. And that's all that he does all day. Just answer, oh yeah, this one or this, or, oh yeah, I choose this, or yeah, that looks fine. Because he's the one steering the ship, but there's all these other people involved. And I think that does that really well. And like I said in the beginning too, it's like, this does show that movies are fake, right? Like he is telling, you're showing, okay, you have to put your head like this or move your hand here, or there's a candle that they're using that is not a real flame. It's got a light bulb in it and an electric cord kind of going up her, which is a very cool device, but it's like, none of this stuff is real. Like all we're doing is making this this fake story. But when they all of a sudden the music kind of kicks in, and then it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's all fake, but the emotions you're feeling as an audience member watching it are real. Even actually the song itself, the main theme, which sounds like some Bach, like Baroque piece, which I love the theme from this, is not actually, I mean, it was an original score. So they even faked the theme to sound like something that it even wasn't. Just again, showing that like movies are all just illusions, but still can make you feel something. Every single one of those scenes when they show like a little montage of stuff happening on the set, and that song comes in, it's just like, oh my God, like it just, it really hits me.
We love montages.
I love montages, and I love making movies. And the shots too of just the all of the nods he makes to his favorite filmmakers. There's a scene when they dump all the books out onto the bed, and you see Hitchcock and all these other directors, and flashbacks to him stealing the lobby cards of Citizen Kane, which sort of also saying, look, like, I steal from the greats as a filmmaker, but that's kind of what you do. I appreciate them, and I also kind of take stuff from them. I mean, it works on so many levels. And then, the final thing it kind of does is talk about the price and the cost that the artists who are involved in the movie pay. They're putting their entire lives on hold. In a way, kind of like the reverse of what in American Movie, like Mark was sort of putting his life on hold because he didn't want to deal with it. And then the movie was what was then giving him life. And with some of these actors and the folks involved, it's like they're dealing with a lot of really hard things in their life. And they're kind of putting those things on hold and sacrificing, kind of fixing those parts of themselves or those relationships just so that they can put this art out in the world. So just another form of sacrifice that I think this movie does really well in terms of capturing. And yeah, I think it's even one of the last lines of the film was like, we hope you enjoy the movie, watching the movie as much as we did making it. Which I just love that sentiment too. And I think that's something that you always hope when you see a movie that you love. It's like, oh, hopefully they enjoyed themselves when they put this thing together. But yeah, again, basic choice. But I think this movie is just fantastic as a film, and I think captures making movies so brilliantly. And I love it. What more can I say?
Nothing wrong in basic. Yeah, when we talked about this topic, this was the first movie that came to my head as well.
Mhm.
So if you had not put it on your list, I would have put it on my list for
Yeah.
all the reasons you talked about.
Yeah, we
Because
got to
it's,
talk about it. Yeah.
yeah, it's just obvious. But
Yeah.
at the same time, yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong in basic, but I also think it's worth appreciating movies who do it right, no matter what. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who's probably not seen this movie, so
Yeah.
maybe they will sort of pick this movie up. But yeah, it's such a fun ride. I will say though, to kind of maybe counterbalance a little bit of what you were saying, yes, everything is fake, but I think it does come from a real place, because the people who are making this are humans, and
Hmm.
everything that's happening in their lives, all that baggage is fueling whatever is being put up on the screen, whatever is happening in the prep, whatever decision he made to go with whatever wig or whatever gun. Like, everything that's happening in your real life is, powering that. So,
Hmm.
and that's why it's such a elusive, odd thing of making movies, because if you're painting, like you were saying earlier, it's a solitary thing, and yes, your emotions, your baggage, your life is guiding that, whatever
Hmm.
you're putting out there. But in this case, there are hundreds of other people that are working with you,
Right.
so you're colliding with their baggages and your own baggage and your vision. All of it is happening at the same time, and that just creates this thing. And that's why, like, somebody asked me once that, oh, if you have a good script, why wouldn't you just make a great movie out of it? I'm like, well, wish if that were that simple, because, and that's why that doesn't happen. There's so
Yeah.
many good movies that are great on paper, but they're not good movies.
Hmm.
And you really see that in this movie, how that's put together. But yeah, what a ride. On this watch, the thing that struck me and I was laughing out loud was one of the production guys' wife, who's just sitting around
Oh,
knitting
yeah. Yeah.
in like weird areas because she despises the whole thing, and she's also jealous that something
Uh-huh.
might happen with her husband. It's so hilarious. And that's the other thing, right? Like, this is why this movie is, I think, elevated, because you could make a movie like this sort of cutesy and fun,
Hmm.
but because the detail of every character is so rich, that it's almost feels like you're invited to that set. You're part of
Hmm.
it. It
Hmm.
feels all real, and it's because of that. So yeah, what a great movie.
That's so good. So good. Hey there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I cover a topic around important people, places, events, and moments in our lives, and then explore it through 3 of our favorite movies. Subscribe right now, or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.